before we deal with the spiritual bypassing, we need to learn the characteristics of what spiritual bypassing is all about. How do we know that we are actually bypassing some things spiritually? Even in spiritual life, we start judging things, we start judging experiences, we try to assess people. Unless until you actually sit with the shadow part yourself, how can you find out the light part of yourself?
I welcome all of you to this session. This is a simple Sunday gathering organized by Omega Pyramid, along with in association with Pyramid Valley International. And we have the Youth Power by PIMA and the Spiritual Science by IFSS, and our streaming partner is PMC USA. So I welcome all of you on behalf of all our partners, and I thank all the partners for being joining your hands to make this program happen. So, what is WOW? Words of Wisdom. This session is a space where words hold the power to heal. Words hold the power to inspire, and words hold the power to awaken. And when we hear such words from enlightened masters, it gives a lot of clarity for us on how to seek truth, how to walk on the path of truth, and it'll take us to the feeling of oneness. So, words have power, and when it comes from an enlightened master, it really transforms us. That's the whole purpose of Words of Wisdom program that we organize. So we will have conversation with Parinitha ma'am on the topic of spiritual bypassing and spiritual saturation. Small introduction about her is she is the founder of PSSM Swag and co-founder of Swadhyaya Yoga. And to actually tell about her, it's like her presence reflects simplicity, her voice carries the depth, and her path radiates the clarity. She's quite a revolution of inner awakening and plant based living, and also of universal love. Today, she's not just with us to talk, but to have a soul connection. And today's topic being spiritual bypassing and spiritual saturation. Let's hear from her. So let's welcome her. Hello, ma'am. Welcome to Wow. Good evening, ma'am.
Hello, Prithvi. Thank you so much for having me here. And namaste to everyone, all the audience, all the participants over here. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, today's topic being the spiritual bypassing and spiritual saturation. These two are a little different aspects. So, to start off with, firstly, spiritual bypassing, in my understanding, is like using spirituality to avoid some life situations or unresolved emotions. So, is that right? Please give me more clarity on that, ma'am.
Yes, definitely. See, this particular topic of spiritual bypassing has been taken from a book called as Love Bigger by Lissa Rankin. So everybody must read that book, Love Bigger by Lissa Rankin. And there is one paragraph which is right in front of me. I would like to read that out from that book, if that's okay. And what is spiritual bypassing? And according to one of the authors, it says that when we are spiritually bypassing, we often use the goal of awakening or liberation to rationalize what I call premature transcendence, trying to rise above the raw and messy side of our humanness before we have fully faced and made peace with it. And then we tend to use absolute truth to disparage or dismiss relative human needs, feelings, psychological problems, relational difficulties, and developmental deficits. I see this as an occupational hazard of the spiritual path. Trying to move beyond our psychological and emotional issues by sidestepping them is dangerous. It sets up a debilitating split between the Buddha and the human within us. And it leads to a conceptual, one sided kind of spirituality where one pole of life is elevated at the expense of its opposite. And absolute truth is favored over relative truth, the impersonal over the personal, emptiness over form, transcendence over embodiment, and detachment over feeling. And trying to move beyond our psychological and emotional issues. So that is one thing. One's need for love. But this only drives the need underground so that it often becomes unconsciously acted out in covert and possibly harmful ways instead. And if there is a large gap between our practice and our human side, we remain unripe. Our practice may ripen, but our life doesn't. So, and there's a certain point when that gap becomes very, very painful. And this particular term called as spiritual bypassing has been coined by John Wellwood, PhD. So, this is what is actually spiritual bypassing. This is a definition that he gave.
Ma'am, so how can one know that they're actually avoiding these life situations, like how you said, they're not really ripening with their understanding, but just using spirituality to escape? So how can one become aware of it?
Before we deal with the spiritual bypassing, we need to learn the characteristics of what spiritual bypassing is all about. How do we know that we are actually bypassing some things spiritually? So, if we know certain characteristics of how we are bypassing things in our own life, then we will know what to do with it.
Correct.
So, the first characteristic which this book says that uh, the emotional numbing and repression that results in feeling very little anger, fear, grief, jealousy, despair, disappointment, or terror. And even when such emotions would be appropriate and necessary for living a fully embodied, grounded, healthy, and authentic life. That is the first characteristic of a spiritual bypassing life person. And the second thing is that apparent lack of empathy in the face of other people's real distress. For example, it's all karma. Why do you want to do that? Or you're playing a victim card. You're doing that. There's no empathy here. If somebody is saying that, oh, I've lost something, instead of saying, oh, I understand you, it's okay. Yeah, you have chosen this. You have chosen this life. This is all your karma. This is all what you have done to yourself. Why are you feeling so bad? So that lack of empathy will be there because you're not being compassionate to yourself. You have not addressed the hurt part within you, the trauma part within you. You don't see the trauma part within others. And so then the third characteristic is that anger phobia that resists calling for clear and firm intolerance of hurtful behavior, and often spiritualized as blind compassion and premature forgiveness. So they forgive prematurely rather than expecting others to be held accountable for harmful behaviors with a healthy process of making apologies, making amends, restorative justice, and other measures to ensure that the harmful behavior does not continue. You just bear with them, you just tolerate them. No matter how much they are, they're crossing their limits or they're just, abusing your boundaries or something like that. They just say, oh, I'm in unconditional space. I love everyone unconditionally. I forgive everybody. So even though inside that human part of you is saying no, no. But the spiritual part, the human part and the spiritual part fight together. Unless until you address the human part, you come to peace with it, there's no going to the spiritual part. So then, overly tolerant of abusive people in the name of I am spiritual, or I love unconditionally, or he's my twin flame, blah, blah, blah. So that is what happens, and the weak or porous boundaries are the problem here, and which they often get triggered by those who have strong and clear boundaries and pushes on or violates those boundaries with, but we are all one. Toxic positivity, this is toxic positive. Inside, we don't feel one with the other person. Inside, we are all separative. We are all separatistic. But in the outside part, in the spiritual part of us, saying that, oh, we are all one, isn't it? And that's setting the boundaries of as being divisive and polarizing. So that one and spiritualizes boundarylessness. Spiritualizing boundarylessness, mistaking unhealthy fusion as a mystical experience, exaggerated niceness, to the point of not being able to take a clear stand or protect oneself from abusive relationships, if you can understand what I mean. So spiritual bypassing strands it from emotional depth and authenticity and its underlying grief that we have in our life, what we have experienced in our life, what we have gone through, the trauma of everything, and mostly unspoken, untouched, unacknowledged, keeps it marooned from the very caring that would unwrap and undo it, like a baby being readied or a bath by a loving parent. So this is what the book says, my dear friends, and I'm very happy that I've read this and I'm bringing this to you so that we all know that in the facade of spirituality, are we bypassing everything that we have inside of us, the toxic positivity that we can carry with us, and blames people who are suffering from legitimate victimhood in yourself or someone else, and bypasses with aphorisms like, your soul is growing now. Your soul is growing now. It is healing. Oh my God, how do you know about it? How will I know, or how will I judge what you are going through? What process is going to, what process are you going through? How will I know? Because I'm a spiritual person, am I supposed to tell you this? No. And judges suffering people as spiritually inferior. Yes. We still judge people. We still judge what is happening to them. We still judge. No matter how many times Patriji said, no judgments, no complaints, no blamings, but still, even in spiritual life, we start judging things. We start judging experiences. We try to assess people. And I'd like to continue with the characteristics of spiritual bypassing is that difficulty staying grounded in reality and tends to talk a lot about spirits, invisible beings, talk from ancestors, etc., while neglecting painful earthly realities. That is good. All that is good. But do not neglect yourself. Yourself. And so, and the tendency towards black and white thinking, something is all good or all bad. Living in two extremes. And Buddha said middle path. Go for the middle path. Don't go for extremes. And then avoidance of all judgment to the point of being unable to discern abuse. An exaggerated acceptance of situations in which a firm no and a clear stand are necessary in the name of it's all good. Or, God is helping me grow in my ability to love unconditionally. Oh my God, what a toxic positivity. And prioritizes transcendence into some higher spiritualized state over being in a body, feeling normal emotions, grounding in reality, and engaging in healthy interpersonal relationships and daily tasks. And also, one last two characteristics of spiritual bypassing is spends many hours each day engaging in spiritual practices while ignoring social justice or even practical needs like earning a living. You have to fulfill your responsibilities as a social animal, as a family member, as a citizen of your country, as a citizen of this world, you have to fulfill your responsibilities. And Patriji always said, "Sansar mein nirvan." You have to do that. You have to take care of your family. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your physical, emotional, mental, financial, everything. And then also do your meditation. And the last characteristic is that you respond to painful life experiences with aphorisms like, "We are not our bodies. We are not our emotions. We are beyond this reality." Are we? This is good as long as we are in a meditation position. Oh, we are all, the universe is all within us, and we are the universe. The moment you open your eyes, what happens? The reality dawns upon us. And the problems, the challenges, the practical reality dawns upon us. Then what would you do? So, those are the characteristics of spiritual bypassing. If you have any of them or all of them, then you will know what to do.
Wonderful, ma'am. Like a lot of us are, uh, I think, blind enough, not even aware of such things, that we are totally into such toxic positivity, as you were saying. And there is one study also in Berkeley University where they did practical spirituality, and they said if a person can go through variety of emotions, not just feeling good and all positive emotions, but if a person can go through all kinds of variety of emotion, that person will be healthy. That is a person who is holistically fine. So I can totally relate to what you are talking about, ma'am. Now, how can we make space for the pain, grief, and difficult situation, and actually practice the practical spirituality?
I feel that meditation will help you a lot in this, in trying to understand yourself. Meditation is not an escape from reality. Meditation is a tool in which you are really introduced yourself to yourself, like what you really are, who you really are. I feel that is what meditation does, rather than, leaving all of this and going there. We will all go there ultimately. Ultimately, we will all go there only. But why have we come here? To experience all these things, to experience grief, to experience hurt, pain, anger, jealousy, love, compassion, everything we have come here to experience. Allow yourself to experience every emotion fully. Instead of saying, "Oh, no, 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 this is not good, that is not good, this is bad, that is bad." No. Okay, okay, I'm feeling anger. So now let's sit with my anger. Okay, I'm feeling jealousy. I want to sit with my jealousy. Why am I feeling jealousy? Feel it, feel the jealousy, and then address it. Just be with it. Don't avoid it. Avoiding means suppression. And it will come out in the way you relate to people in the spiritual way. If you suppress something somewhere, it will come out from somewhere. For example, if I'm hating somebody and what do you say? I artificially forgive that person, but that hate still there in me. What do I do? I express that hate in my relations with the other people, rather than dealing with that hatred with that person and making peace with that person. I show that hatred on others, and I become apathic. I show my apathy towards others because I have hatred towards one person, and I'm not able to make peace with it. So I show it on others. And I don't even realize that I'm doing it. So the only way that you can do is make meditation a tool to introduce yourself to yourself rather than escaping it. This is not an escape thing. So you be with yourself, grounded, firm, and understand yourself as you are, and try to make peace with yourself, with your grief, with your pain, with your anger, with the situations that brought into your life. why we blame others, why are we judging others. You have to sit with yourself. Unless until you actually sit with the, shadow part yourself, how can you find out the light part of yourself? If you want to become light, you have to make peace with the shadow part, the dark part of yourself. We might make a statement saying that, oh, I know everything is done in my past janma. In my past incarnation, all has been done. Now I'm come as a light being. Okay, fine. But then what is happening? Why is this spiritual bypassing happening then? Something somewhere should be happening, isn't it? So make meditation a tool to bring you to reality, to face yourself as you are, to see yourself exactly how you are, where you are, who you are. That is what meditation does to you. To release yourself from that, you know, fakeness or artificiality that you have been. You become your true self when you meditate. If you are becoming more and more artificial, are you really meditating? What are you focusing on when you're meditation? Oh, I want to open my third eye. I want to do my kundalini. That's all okay. That's all very good. Those are all byproducts of meditation. But what exactly do you have to do is you have to make peace with yourself first. You have to work on yourself first. Then you do whatever you want to do. Because unless until don't make peace with yourself, how can you give peace to others? If you yourself are not peaceful within, if you yourself are divided within, what will you project? You will project division only, not unity, not oneness. You're not one with yourself. And that's what I can say as of now.
Right. So, ma'am, in the name of detachment, people are getting dissociated with the emotions, is what you're telling, right? Okay. So, as you said, we have to be with it, feel it, and only by being with it totally, we can naturally the detachment will happen. We need not do anything about it, right? How can seekers who are meditating can be truly rooted in the truth and not bypass?
By first looking at your own truth first. Truth is out there when you start meditating, when you start reading books or maybe something like that. First of all, you have to find yourself. Then the truth will be revealed to you. Find yourself first. Unless until you find yourself, okay, I find the truth, but I'm struggling with myself. I'm struggling with finding myself. I'm struggling with being one with myself, or I'm struggling to make peace with myself. Even though you know the truth, will you be able to assimilate the truth? That is called a spiritual bypassing. You are bypassing all these things for the truth. You want to know the truth. You want to attain salvation or moksha or whatever you want to call it. You want to break the cycle of reincarnation. That's all good. But what about this? That is, we all need, see, if you want to go to some place, we have to go by the path, whether that path be rocky or something. Just because the path is rocky or something, we try to take the flyovers. We tried, no, this road is mucky and road is very dirty. I don't want to go through that road. Let me take the wonderful flyover which takes me directly to that village or the town or the city. That is what we are doing. We want the easy way out. We want the shortcuts. We want the beautiful paradise. But underneath that flyover paradise, there's a lot of dirt which we have inside of ourselves. When are we going to deal with that? Our angers, our jealousies, our egos, our fears, our hatreds, our loves, our compassions, everything. Who are you? Your experiences, isn't it? Maybe you're not your emotions, you're not your mind, but you're your experiences. You're the sum total of your experiences. What about them? Why did you experience all that? What is the meaning of the all those experiences that happened to you? Try to find yourself, then you can find the truth. Don't bypass these things for the truth. You will get the truth. Once you know your own truth, you will know the truth.
So very true, ma'am. Now, I think we can connect this to the spiritual saturation where we think we have understood the spiritual concepts because there's so much content there. We have read so much, and we assume that we have integrated within us, but actually, we have just accumulated the information, but it takes a lot to integrate, right, ma'am? So,
Yeah. So
how do we,
spiritual
how do we,
saturation. Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Ask me.
So how do we integrate and not just assume that we have consumed the information? A lot of time, what happens is any concept, any spiritual concept, we understand it and we start holding about it instead of living it. So how do we really integrate it?
There's a funny word. There's a real term that Torquem Saradin has coined it. It's called as window shopping.
Okay.
Window shopping. What we do? We go to a mall with not a single rupee in our pocket. We try to go to each and every shop. Hey, how much is this? How much is that? What is the quality of this? And we buy none. So then what do we do here? What do I mean by window shopping here? I listen to Parinitha. I listen to Prithvi. I listen to somebody. I listen to somebody. I listen to Vivekananda. I listen to Patriji. I listen to, Ramana Maharshi. I listen to so many other gurus. But I practice nothing. I apply nothing. I didn't buy anybody. That is what is dangerous. You listen to everybody, you do window shopping, what is happening there, what is she talking, let me find out, go and find out, let me listen, what is she talking about? Okay, oh, she's talking about that, okay, then I go to some other shop, I say, oh, he's talking that. Okay, you find out what others are talking about, you find out what are their concepts, you find out what is their philosophy, what is it to you? How are you making that a reality? Stick to one thing, stick to one person, stick to one teaching. Sit with that for 20, 30 years. Then you will know what you are actually. You jump from one person to one person to one person, listening to everything. Obviously you will be confused. Obviously your mind is chaotic. You don't know what to believe. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to think anymore. That is what happens. This person has said to do this, but this person has said not to do this. Now, what to listen to? Whom to listen to? Window shopping, confused. So, my dear masters, please stop window shopping. Stick to one thing and make your life less complicated. Make your mind less chaotic, less confused. Be like a tortoise, not like a rabbit.
Uh, Ma'am, I have one contradicting question here because in PSSM, we encourage people to read a lot of books, a lot of books. Uh, does that also lead to spiritual saturation?
For me, I don't think so because by reading Lissa Rankin's book or reading Torquem Saradin's book, I know about myself. Any book that helps you understand yourself better, I urge everyone to read those books. We need to read the right books. We should not read the right books. Right wisdom should be there. And when we read books, what we see is we see everything from a different perspective. Their experience we are learning. Something from a different point of view we are understanding. And that's all right. We are learning something new. We always have to upgrade ourselves. Let's not be a fanatic and believe only one thing, one track mind saying that this is the only truth, there's no other truth. Let's not be that. Let's open our horizons, learn from everybody, but take what you can and just stick to that. That's it. You have to keep upgrading yourself with new dimensions and open your mind, expand your consciousness, read the right books which help you find yourself, which help you expand your consciousness.
Right, ma'am. So the way we consume the spiritual concepts also matter. And these days we have very instant consumption of content. Like, it might be a reel, it might be a video. So instantly people feel that, okay, I have understood this concept, and they assume that, okay, I know it. And actually, I feel even book reading gives us a deeper understanding. It helps us to integrate than consuming videos and podcasts and reels and all short forms of content. So how do you see the technology going forward, um, affecting the spiritual integration?
I have no idea how it is going to go forward because now AI is taking over. There's a book called as The Digital Dharma written by Deepak Chopra. I haven't read it yet, but my husband has read it. So maybe there's something there in that book called as Digital Dharma by Dr. Deepak Chopra. You might want to read that book. So let's see how future takes us, because AI is actually answering all our questions, like how to do meditation, where to find myself, how to open my third eye. All these questions are being answered now by AI. I don't know where it's going to go ahead, but yeah, this is all happening. Technology is taking over spirituality, and it's all quick fixes, instant answers. We don't know who's answering that. See, when you receive a message on your WhatsApp, you immediately see who's sending it, thereby you respond to that WhatsApp message. But here we don't know who's sending it. We are just blindly believing whatever is being said to us and AI, and the AI is controlling our mind, body, and soul. So we should not let that happen. Take it as information and not as truth, not as reality. Just become a spiritual scientist. Research by yourself. You have your tools inside. This is your AI is here in inside of yourself. Your heart, your soul, everything is here. You don't need anything else. This is
Right.
far more technologically advanced than anything.
Right. Yeah, about that digital dharma, I was reading that even AI can act like a counselor, a physician, a spiritual guide, and let us do everything. It'll counsel us and it'll give every kind of answers to our questions. So we don't need human connection at all, kinds of thing. But I don't know where it is going to end up. It's a little scary, actually. So
Yeah.
uh, so, ma'am, finally, what do you say about the role of silence in integrating the spiritual concepts that we learn about?
Other than silence, I would say assimilation is very important. Whatever you learn as a spiritual concept, you have to first sit with that concept, understand it in a deeper way, let it sit in you, let it merge within you like your flesh and blood and bones. That is called as assimilation. When you assimilate certain things, then the silence will happen effortlessly, automatically. Verbal, mental silence will happen. So, the first thing that you have to do is when you learn something, you have to let it assimilate. You have to let it sit down, settle down on yourself. That happens only when you're still. Stillness is very important. Only when the water is still, the mud will settle down. The water is, shaky, the mud will always raise up. And that is what we have to do. We have to learn how to be still with ourselves. That is where meditation helps us. It helps us to be still so that we know how much mud we have inside. And then deal with that mud within us. And then thereby a lotus will bloom from that mud, become that lotus. Lotuses happen only in still water, not on flowing water.
Right now. For that, immense patience is required right now. It doesn't happen overnight. And you are also leading the Paima right now. And you know how the youth mindset is. They're really not very patient enough to sit in that stillness for that settling to happen. So how do we make the youth get into that stillness?
We don't make anybody do anything. We just inform, we just, tell them that, this is what it is. And we don't impose anything on them. We just spread the word and plant the seeds. That's all we have to do. We have to plant the seeds. We have to go to them and tell them that, guys, this is meditation. This is what happens to you when you do meditation. And whether they take it or not, I'm not bothered about the results. I'm just trying to be the cause of it, not being the result of it. Forget about the result. Result will come sometime. In this janma, next janma, after 10 janmas, they will bloom. Give them that space and the freedom to bloom. Whenever they want to bloom, let them bloom. But our job is to plant the seeds. Just because we are not able to see the results immediately, we get disheartened, we get demoralized. Don't do that. You have done your job. That's it. That's all it matters. You have done your job of teaching meditation. That's all it is. Don't worry about, oh, are they meditating or not? Have they changed or not? Have they become vegetarian or not? Forget about it. You do your job and move on. That is what Patriji used to do. He never used to worry, oh, are they meditating? I went there. No. Are they meditating? Did they become vegetarian? We did a vegetarian rally. How many become vegetarians? No. He did his job and moved on. He did his job and moved on. That's how he lived his life for the 40 years. He just kept on moving around, spreading the message. He never said, I'm a teacher or I'm a preacher or what. He said, I'm an informer. That is all. We all have to inform things. So that is what you have to do for the youth as well. No different.
Right now. But youth has so much of distractions and they want to get into gaming and other stuffs, but nobody want to come into meditation at an early age. So should we have a different kind of approach to take meditation to them?
Yes, a different kind of approach should happen. See, that's the reason why we are having an Awakening Youth Fest in August in Pyramid Valley International, which is a youth-focused event. And I'm not sure how many youth events have happened in the PSSM earlier, but this is the first of a time. Like Global Fest is happening, and we are completely, designing these 3 days in a way that it can reach the youth in a faster way in their own language. We have to speak their language in order to reach the word of meditation to them. See, for example, if a 60-year-old teaches a 10-year-old, one more lecturer, one more lecture, one more preacher has come, okay, I'll just have to respect that person just because he has come. Okay, I listen from here and leave from here. And then I do the same old things. But in the same way, if a 10-year-old comes and shares their experience with the same 10-year-old, that impact is different. And that is what we have to do. And that is what Paima is doing. So that youngsters of the same age reach out to the youngsters of the same age to inform. See, Patriji never said, tell them. Patriji always says, share. You share your experience. You know, for example, if I say, you know what, Prithvi, I did meditation and I saw some colors. That's all you say. You don't say, you also meditate, you also will see some colors. No, you don't do that. I saw some colors, Prithvi, today. What a wonderful experience I had. That's beautiful. And you, oh, even I want to see colors. Let me also meditate. That is what you'll feel from inside. So you just share your experiences, you just share your moments while in meditation and let them take how they want to take it. Just share your experiences. That is what Patriji says, and that's what I stick to. Just share. Don't tell people, don't preach people, don't, you know, do that. Just share.
Beautiful, ma'am. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of promotions about Awakening Youth, and I am assuming that it's going to be a very big event and looking forward for it, ma'am. So, where can we get more details about it? Should we register for the event? Can you please give more details about it, ma'am?
Yes, definitely. The Awakening Youth Fest, the Awakening Youth Fest, landing page is there, which I will be forwarding it to you. And then maybe you can forward it to our group. And the age limit is from 16 to 35. This is the age limit that Patriji had put, not me or anybody. Patriji himself had put this age limit as 16 to 35. So only 16 to 35 are, welcome to register. And 3 days, it will be a beautiful experiential event for every youngsters that comes there, especially inviting the new persons who have not done meditation or who don't know anything about meditation. They come there and experience the beauty of meditation, experience the beauty of the pyramid, the nature over there, and they will themselves come into meditation. We are doing it for the new persons. Let all the new persons come there and experience bliss over there, and purpose and clarity.
Beautiful. It was an amazing conversation with you because you brought in a very new concept which I had never heard before, like spiritual bypassing and premature forgiveness was very new to me because I had never heard something like premature forgiveness. We do forgiveness a lot of times, but that's not total. Whichever emotions which we have gone through, we haven't gone through it totally. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Is this spiritual bypassing after witnessing the extreme in any relationship if we feel like walking away from it? It's easier to leave partners, but when parents and children wish to separate from each other in the name of serving a higher cause or any job, is that still valid or just another escape in the name of spirituality?
Yeah, that happens, isn't it? And that, see, it's all a mix of materialistic and spirituality, if I have to say. We have to address everything in both the perspectives, not just spiritually and not just materialistically. It has to be a balance of both. Everything should be addressed in the balance of both. So spiritually, when we have to say, okay, we have chosen our parents, we have chosen our experiences, we have chosen what to do and all that. But once we come here, when we come into this material world, we forget all that design and we go according to our free will. Free will is also very, very valid, as is the design, as is the choosing of our everything. So when we come here, we forget all of that, whatever we have designed. Unless not we come to meditation, we wouldn't understand that. But normally, we exercise our free will. That is very, very important to understand over here. So you will understand all these things when you come into meditation. So as long as your understanding is on a physical level or an emotional level or on a mental level, you'll not be able to fully understand why this happened to you. Why are you experiencing all these things? But even though when you're experiencing all these things, you will know that you're spiritually bypassing it when you're coming into meditation. Unless until you are doing meditation, you will not be able to understand if I'm escaping from these feelings of grief, of pain, or am I, you know, not dealing with it and trying to put a brave face over there. So you have to understand that these experiences are very, very valid as long as you understand it in totality. You have to address those issues. You have to address your experiences. You have to make peace with it. And as they say, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, and these experiences have come to be teachers to us to make us experience what we are supposed to experience. But then again, at the physical level or the emotional level, we have to we have to learn how to overcome them with the power of meditation. Everything is valid. Everything is valid, whether it's going for a higher cause or a lower cause or whatever cause it is. For example, my father, He used to work for Coromandel Fertilizers, and he used to go camping everywhere. And suddenly he resigned from his job, and he used to roam around teaching meditation. And I'll tell you something, in the literal sense, there is no separation. There is really no separation involved. Just because we are living, somewhere, apart from each other, we think that we are all separated. But actually, we are not separated. And we are all still connected. We may not be attached, but we are all still connected. So even my father had left his job and, was away from the family for a higher cause. And that has taught us both sisters, me and Pari, to be connected to our father and not be attached. We still loved him, we still missed him, but we were not attached to the physical body. So let's focus on connection rather than attachment, and every experience is teaching us something or the other, isn't it? So let us experience it fully, and then let's assimilate it fully. Let's sit with ourselves fully, and then dissipate it. Then dissipate it. That is understanding that we get only when we start doing meditation. Before that, it's not impossible, but it's a little difficult. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It really gave a lot of clarity on what spiritual bypassing is, because you and Srinivas Reddy said, both of you, all the time, whenever I hear you, you ground us into the root and the reality of spirituality. You don't take us to that glamour of spirituality, and which is very much required at this point of time. So I really thank you for bringing this knowledge to all of us and sharing with us, ma'am.
Yes, sure. And we actually skipped a spiritual saturation. We might need another session for that later on. Uh, Spiritual saturation is also one of the important topics by Stockholm Saradarian. But since we do not have time, maybe we can do some other session. There's one paragraph which I want to read it out for spiritual saturation. This is by Torquem Saradarian. Okay, and the spiritual life is a tension between two polarities. One pole is sphere, and the other pole is the earthly sphere. One pole evokes an ever progressive urge. The other pole draws man towards darkness and materialism. Man stands between these two poles, and either the magnet of the spiritual poles pulls him up towards greater and greater values, towards transformation and transfiguration, or the pole of the earthly life pulls him down towards degeneration and death. And the average person is subject to these opposite polarities, and sometimes he is drawn to the light, sometimes to the darkness. Certain people go in only one direction. They either immerse themselves in matter, or they renounce the world, as many as they can. And disciples and advanced human beings try to bring these two opposites together to create harmony between them. And those who are more advanced transform the earthly life and enable light, love, and beauty to manifest through matter, through what we call life in general. And thus, material life helps to express the beauty of the spirit. And the last paragraph says that people cyclically follow one path or the other. Upon both paths, they confront hindrances and difficulties and try to overcome them. And gradually, they learn that a material problem or difficulty is better solved with a spiritual attainment. And that spiritual attainment is better manifested through the mastery of matter and personality. It's all a paradox. And those who try to advance on the spiritual path in the meantime, live a normal life, confront a situation which is called a spiritual saturation. This is the paragraph written by Torquem Saradari. Requesting everyone who is watching here to please support Omega Pyramid, and to support in any way that you can, however you can, whenever you can, to please support this project, because this is very, very, very important project for all of us as PSSM. And this pyramid is going to bring great changes in the entire globe. It is going to shift the energies and is going to play a very pivotal role in the shifting of the energies of the earth. And this is very important. So please, everyone, please support Omega Pyramid and the spiritual university that is coming up. This is very, very important project for all of us.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that wonderful, inspiring words from you. It really inspires us to keep working on it for the whole team. Thank you, ma'am.